Well, now, come sit with me on the porch for a spell. I want to talk to you the way I'd talk to my own grandkids if they came over on a quiet Saturday afternoon with a cold Coca-Cola and asked me straight, Grandpa, when should I start putting a little money away? And how do I not mess it all up? The biggest advantage you have right this minute isn't how smart you are, how many followers you've got, or what fancy college you might go to someday. The biggest advantage you have is something that's slipping away every single day you wait. It's simply time. Time is the one thing no billionaire on earth, not the richest man in the world, not anybody, can buy another minute of. And when you're 18, 19, 21, 22, you are richer in time than any 70-year-old billionaire will ever be again. Let me prove it to you with numbers so plain, so honest, and so powerful that you'll never forget them as long as you live. Picture three young people, let's call them Sam, Riley, and Jordan. All three decide they're going to set aside exactly $100 every single month for as long as they work. Nothing fancy. $100 less than a nice dinner out these days. They all earn the same perfectly ordinary 8% average annual return that owning a broad basket of good businesses has delivered decade after decade. Through world wars, depressions, recessions, pandemics, inflation, deflation, political chaos, technological revolutions. You name it. Sam starts at 18. Riley waits until 25. Jordan keeps putting it off until 35. They all stop adding new money at age 60 and just let whatever they've built keep growing quietly until retirement at 65. Here's what shows up when they finally open the envelope. Sam, the one who started at 18, put in only $42,000 of his own money over all those years, ends up with $5,400,000. Riley started at 25, ends up with $2,100,000. Jordan waited until 35, ends up with $680,000. Same exact $100 a month, same 8% return, same total dollars contributed over a lifetime. Only difference, 17 extra years for Sam. That's almost $5 million that came from exactly nowhere except the quiet, patient, unstoppable miracle of time and compounding. I want you to let that settle in your mind for a good long minute. $5 million created out of thin air, not by being a genius, not by working 100-hour weeks, not by picking the next hot stock, just by starting a little sooner. Most folks say, well, I'll start investing when I'm making real money, when I have a good job, when I'm out of debt, when the market isn't so high, when I know more. The mathematics says the exact opposite is true. When you're young, you need almost no money at all because time does 90% of the work for you. I've watched teenagers delivering food on bicycles put away $50 a month and end up richer at retirement than most doctors, lawyers, and engineers who started serious saving at 35 or 40. I've watched brilliant 40-year-olds making 6 or 7 figures still lose sleep worrying about retirement because they waited too long to let time go to work. The difference is never how much you earn today. The difference is always, 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 always how soon you begin. Think of compounding like a snowball at the top of the longest, snowiest hill in Nebraska on a perfect winter day. Give that snowball the tiniest push when you're 18 and it barely needs any more snow added along the way. It just keeps picking up size and speed completely on its. Start that same snowball halfway down the hill at 35 and you've got to work like crazy, packing truckload after truckload of snow every single day, just to have any chance of catching. 8% average return isn't greedy. It isn't gambling. It isn't speculative. It's what owning a piece of thousands of good businesses, all of them together, has paid patient people for over 100 years. And it will keep paying as long as human beings keep waking up every day trying to solve problems and build better things. You don't have to be smarter than Wall Street. You don't have to guess tomorrow's winner. You don't have to time the market. You just have to own a little piece of all the winners and all the losers too, because the winners more than make up for them, and then go live your life. I hope you've had a chance to let yesterday's numbers settle in your mind, because today we're going to keep this conversation going exactly where we left off. If I were 18 again in 2026, sitting in a small room with nothing but pocket money, a cheap phone, and a whole lifetime ahead of me, I wouldn't try to be clever. I've learned the hard way over nearly a century that simple almost always beats complicated when you're playing a 50-year game. I would do exactly three things with my money, and only three. Nothing more, nothing less. Let me walk you through them slowly, the same way I'd walk my own grandson through it if he came over on a Sunday afternoon. First thing I'd buy is a total stock market index fund. Now that sounds fancy, but it's about as plain as it gets. It's a single investment that owns a tiny slice of every publicly traded company worth owning in the country. Thousands and thousands of businesses all rolled into one basket. When you buy one share of a total market index fund, you become an owner, a real owner of Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Walmart, Coca-Cola, the corner drugstore chain, the little software company nobody's heard of yet, and every other company, big and small, all in the exact right proportion. You don't have to guess which one is going to be the next big thing. You don't have to worry about one company going bankrupt or one CEO making a bad decision. You simply own the entire economy of a growing country. And over the past 100+ years, the entire economy has grown at a remarkably steady pace. It has survived 2 world wars, the Great Depression, inflation in the 70s, crashes in 1987, 2008, 2020, every kind of mess you can imagine. And it has always come out stronger on the other side. In the United States, the most common ones have tickers like VTI or ITOT. In India, you have similar funds that track the Nifty 500 or broader indices. The name on the label doesn't matter nearly as much as the idea. Own everything, pay almost nothing in fees, and let thousands of businesses do the work for you while you go to school, hang out with friends, or build whatever life you want. Second thing I'd buy is an S&P 500 index fund, or a Nifty 50 fund if I lived in India. This is a slightly narrower basket that owns only the 500 biggest, best-run companies. It's still incredibly diversified, 500 different businesses across every industry you can think of, and historically it has performed almost exactly the same as the total market fund over decades. Sometimes a hair better, sometimes a hair worse. But the difference after 50 years is usually too small to matter. The most popular ones in America are VU, SPY, or F-Sakes, all with fees so low you almost can't see them. In India, you have UD Nifty 50, HDFC Sensex, and others that cost pennies. Again, the exact name isn't important. What matters is you pay the lowest possible expense ratio, ideally 0.05% or less, and you never ever sell. Third thing, and this one is just as important as the first two, I'd put every dollar I possibly could into whatever tax-sheltered retirement account my country allows. In America, that's a Roth IRA when you're young. In India, you have equity-linked savings schemes and new tax-free options coming every year. In the UK, it's an ISA, in Canada, an RSP, in Australia, superannuation. Every country has something. The details are different, but the idea is always the same. You put money in today, it grows completely free of taxes for decades. And when you take it out in retirement, you pay little or no tax. A Roth-style account is especially powerful when you're young because you're usually in a low tax bracket right now. You pay tax on the small amount you contribute today, and then every dollar of future growth, potentially millions of dollars, comes out completely tax-free when you're older and in a higher bracket. That's found money. Free money from the government for being smart enough to start early. So let me say it again so it's perfectly clear. 1. Total market index fund. 2. S&P 500 or equivalent large cap index fund. 3. The best tax-sheltered account your country offers. That's the whole shooting match. You do not need individual stocks. You do not need real estate yet. You do not need gold, commodities, options, futures, or any of the thousands of complicated products they try to sell you on television and social media. Those things are not investing. They're speculating. And speculating is fine if you have money you can afford to lose and time you enjoy spending on it. But for the money you're going to need 50 years from now to take care of yourself and the people you love. Simple, boring, and cheap wins every single time. I've watched brilliant people spend years trying to beat the market by 1 or 2% and end up far behind the fellow who just bought an index fund, turned on automatic investing, and went to the beach. The beauty of these three investments is that once you set them up, you can almost forget about them. You set up an automatic purchase, $10 and $50, $100 a month, whatever you can comfortably do without feeling it. And you let time and thousands of businesses do the rest. You don't check the price every day. You don't panic when the market drops 20 or 30%. That's just the price going on sale. You don't get greedy when it shoots up. You simply keep buying a little bit every month, year after year, decade after decade. That's dollar cost averaging in its purest form, and it removes almost all emotion from the process. When prices are high, you buy fewer shares. When prices are low, you buy more shares. Over time, you end up paying a perfectly fine average price, almost always better than trying to time it. I wish someone had sat me down at 18 and explained this as clearly as I'm explaining it to you right now. I would have slept better, worried less, and almost certainly ended up with even more in the end. Tomorrow in part 3, I'm going to walk you step by step through exactly how to get started with $50 or less. The apps, the accounts, the buttons to press, everything. Even if you're still in school and only have pocket money. For now, remember this: the game of long-term wealth is not won by being brilliant. It is won by being patient, consistent, and willing to be a little bit boring. I hope the first two parts are still rolling around in your head, because today we're going to finish the practical side of this whole conversation. Today is the day you actually do it. The day you take whatever money you have right now, even if it's only $10 or $20, and you put it to work the right way for the rest of your life. I'm going to walk you through every single step, every button to press, every app to download, exactly the way I would walk my own grandson or granddaughter through it if they were sitting right here next to me. And I'm going to do it slowly because this is too important to rush. First thing to understand, in 2026, the world has never made it easier for a young person with almost no money to become an owner of good business. When I was 18, you needed thousands of dollars, a stockbroker in a suit, and you had to pay big commissions every time you bought or sold anything. Today, you can do everything I'm about to describe with a cheap phone, an internet connection, and less than 10 minutes. Let me prove it to you country by country, step by step. If you live in the United States, download one of these three apps: Fidelity, Vanguard, or Charles Schwab. All three are completely free, have zero commission trading, and let you buy fractional shares of index funds. Open a regular taxable brokerage account first. You can add a Roth IRA or when you have a little job income. The process is exactly this. Download the app, right arrow, put in your name, address, social security number, right arrow, link your bank account, right arrow, done. I've watched teenagers do the whole thing while riding the bus to school. It really is that simple. If you live in India, download Growa, Zerodha, or Upstocks, all free. All allow fractional shares of index funds, all have zero account opening charge. Open a regular DMAT plus trading account, complete kick with Odar and Pan. Takes 5 minutes, link your bank, and you're ready. If you're in Canada, Wealth Simple Trade. United Kingdom, Trading 212 or Invest Engine. Australia, ComSec Pocket or Spaceship. Every single one of these apps is free for basic investing and lets you buy tiny slices of the funds we talked about yesterday. Step 2, move your first money in, whatever you can spare today. $10, $20, doesn't matter. Some of these apps will even round up your daily purchases and invest the spare change for you automatically. Step 3, buy your first index fund. Open the app, go to the search bar, type the ticker we decided on yesterday. In America, VTI or VIEW, that's all you need. In India, UD Nifty 50 Index Fund HDFC Sensex Plan, Motilal Oswal Nifty 500, any low-cost one. Place a buy order for exactly the amount you just transferred. But because of fractional shares, you can spend $19.37 and own exactly that much of the fund. Press confirm, and in less than 5 seconds, you now own a real piece of thousands of the best companies on earth. Step 4, set up the automatic monthly purchase. Every single one of these apps has a button that says Air Recurring Investment or Auto Invest. Set it to pull $50 or $20 or $100, whatever you can truly forget about, on the same day every month. Turn on dividend reinvestment so every rupee or dollar the fund pays you automatically buys more shares without you lifting a finger. That's it. 4 steps, 10 minutes. Done for the next 50 years. You do not need to watch the news. You do not need to check the price every day. You do not need permission from anyone. Your money is now officially working harder than 95% of adults who earn 10 or 20 times what you earn right now. Let me say that again because it's worth hearing twice. A teenager who invests $50 a month from age 18 to 25 and then stops, does absolutely nothing else for the next 40 years, will have more money at retirement than most people who wait until 35 and then frantically try to catch up by investing $500 or $1,000 a month. That is not motivation talking. That is mathematics, cold, hard, beautiful mathematics. Now, a handful of practical tips I wish someone had given me when I was your age. Tip 1, treat it exactly like a bill you cannot skip. Phone bill, electricity bill, investing bill. Pay yourself first before you spend on anything else. Tip 2, start with an amount so small it feels almost silly. $20 a month feels like nothing when you're 18, but over 45 years it grows into hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions. The habit is worth far more than the amount in the beginning. Tip 3, never ever borrow money to invest. Never use credit cards, never take personal loans, never gamble with money you can't afford to lose. Slow and steady always beats fast and sorry. Tip 4, ignore the noise completely. The market will crash. Many times, it always has. It always recovers every single time without exception. Your job is not to predict crashes. Your job is to keep buying right through them. Tip 5, keep learning, but do not keep changing. Read one good book a year, watch one good video a month, but do not jump from strategy to strategy every time you learn something new. The person who buys the same index fund for 50 years almost always beats the person who keeps switching plans. If you're still in school and your parents are worried, sit them down and show them this series. Tell them you are not gambling. You are buying tiny pieces of the biggest, most successful companies on earth, the same companies that make the phones they use, the cars they drive, the food they eat, and the medicine they take. Tomorrow, in the final part, I'm going to reveal the 7 deadly mistakes that keep 95% of people broke forever, even when they earn good money, and exactly how to avoid every single one of them for the rest of your life. If you've made it this far, you are already ahead of almost everyone your age. Take 30 seconds right now. Pause this video, open the app, move your first $20, and buy your first slice of the market. Do it while the iron is hot. Future you will thank present you more than you can possibly imagine. Here we are at the end of our little porch conversation. We've covered a lot of ground over these 4 parts, and if you've stuck with me this far, I'm proud of you, prouder than you can imagine. You now understand the math that makes time your greatest ally. You know the only 3 investments worth owning for a lifetime. You know exactly how to get started with almost no money at all. Today I'm going to save you decades, maybe your whole life, of pain by showing you the 7 deadly mistakes that keep 95% of people broke or barely comfortable no matter how much they end up earning. Avoid these 7 things and you will be in the top 5% without ever needing to be a genius, without ever needing to work 100 hours a week, without ever needing to pick the next hot stock. Mistake number 1, waiting for the perfect time to start. There is no perfect time. The market is always either a too high, a too low, a too uncertain, about to crash, or about to boom, depending on who you listen to. If you wait for the perfect moment, you will wait forever. I've never, not once in nearly a century, met a single person who said, "I wish I had started investing later." But I have met thousands who look back and said, "I wish I had started sooner." Every single month you delay costs you tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars down the road. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now, today, this week. Mistake number 2, trying to beat the market instead of just being the market. You will meet people who brag about picking individual stocks or timing the market perfectly. Some of them will even be right for a little while, but study after study, over decades, all over the world shows that more than 90% of professional fund managers with billion-dollar teams and supercomputers cannot beat a simple low-cost index fund over 10, 20, 30 years. If the pros can't do it consistently, a young person scrolling social media definitely cannot. Stay humble. Own the whole market. Let the average work for you instead of trying to be above average. Mistake number 3. Letting fees eat your future. A fund that charges 1% a year instead of 0.1% looks like a tiny difference today. Over 45 years, it can cut your final wealth almost in half. 10 basis points, 0.1%, matter more than you can possibly imagine when you are young and time is on your side. Always choose the lowest cost version of the exact same investment. Mistake number 4. Selling when the market drops. The market will drop 20%, 30%, 50% many times in your life. It is not a bug, it is a feature. That is when the rich get richer, they buy more while everyone else panics and sells. If you sell during a crash, you lock in your loss and miss the recovery that has happened every single time in history, without exception. Write this on your wall if you have to. The stock market is the only store in the world that puts everything on massive sale, and people run out the door instead of running in. Mistake number 5, lifestyle inflation. Every time your income goes up, your spending goes up with it. A bigger phone, fancier clothes, better restaurants, a new car, a bigger apartment. The moment your lifestyle matches your income, you are stuck on a treadmill forever. The secret of every quietly wealthy person I've ever known is simple. They continued living like they were still broke long after they no longer were. Keep your expenses low. Keep the gap between earning and spending wide. Invest that gap. That gap is what turns into freedom. Mistake number 6, borrowing money to buy things that go down in value. Cars, phones, clothes, vacations, gadgets, anything that depreciates the moment you buy it. If you finance it with a loan or credit card, you are paying extra for something that is worth less every single day. Never borrow to consume. Borrow only to buy things that go up in value. And even then, only if you truly understand the risk and can sleep at night. Mistake number 7, thinking you will start it next year. Next year becomes the year after, then 5 years, then 10. Life gets in the way. College, first job, marriage, children, house, job changes, health issues. Suddenly you wake up at 35 or 45 and realize you have almost no time left for compounding to work its magic. The biggest risk is not a market crash. The biggest risk is doing nothing and letting time, your most precious asset, slip away. Those are the 7 mistakes. Avoid them, and you are almost guaranteed to end up in a financial position better than 95% of people. No matter where you were born, no matter how much or how little you ever earn. Now, here is your exact 7-day action. Do these 7 things this week, and you will have won the money game before most people even start playing. Day 1. Open the account we talked about in part 3. Day 2. Transfer your first money. Even $20. Day 3, buy your first index fund. Day 4, set up the automatic monthly purchase. Day 5, turn on dividend reinvestment. Day 6, tell one friend or family member what you just did. Teaching someone else locks the habit in your brain. Day 7, do nothing. That's right, nothing. No checking prices every hour. No second guessing. Just let it run. If you are watching this and you are still in your teens or 20s, you have just been handed the closest thing to a cheat code that exists in personal finance. Most people will never hear this message clearly. You have. Do not waste it. I promised at the beginning that I would reply personally to every comment with your age. Drop your current age below and I will tell you exactly how much money you could have by age 65 if you start this month with whatever small amount you can manage. No exaggeration, no hype, just the math. This is the end of our 4-part series, but it is only the beginning of your journey. Everything you need is already inside you. Discipline, patience, and time. The rest is just detail. Thank you for spending these 4 days with me. I am proud of you for finishing. Now go do the small, boring, consistent things that create big, beautiful results. Hit the like button if this series helped you. Subscribe and turn on the bell because we have many more simple truths coming. Until next time, stay patient, stay consistent, and keep growing young. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. See you soon.